Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Today, I got a really cool top deck for you. This one's getting really popular, so if anything, you should at least know about it, know how to play against it, and also know how to play it. So this one took number 2 in the Channel Fireball Pro Showdown here in November. I think it was about a week ago. Very exciting. I have covered this individual before, so I'm also looking forward to doing it. It's been a while. Additionally, I've seen other people make it, definitely in the top 1,000. I've also seen this deck in the top 200, so pretty awesome here today, and very excited to be playing this one for you. But before we go ahead and check it out, my friends, I just want to say thank you. As always, please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, if you like the video, please like it. You can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. And lastly, you can stay tuned down below on my Untapped profile and see how I'm tracking here for that mythic journey, or whether you want to see the real time and how much I'm actually playing. So anyway, all jokes aside, let's go ahead now and check out the deck of the day. Today's top deck we have is a Temur Obosh Adventure deck. So again, as I mentioned, this one took number 2 in the Channel Fireball November Pro tournament here. This particular deck hails from the player Kushiro MTG, so congratulations Kushiro, as always. You know, I really enjoy the decks you put out. Additionally, I do want to give a quick shout out here to another player who actually ran this deck and was able to make it CG Samsony1. I probably screwed that up, but Samsony1, congratulations on hitting the top 1,000 with this deck as well. So pretty awesome. I just wanted to do that, something a little bit different here. But anyway, Planeswalkers, for those of you that are new, those of you that are returning, how do we get the naming convention of this deck? Well, first off, we have a Temur, which is the color schema green, blue, and red, or forest, islands, and mountains to give us the Temur color coordination there. And then it is an Obosh deck because of this guy right here. And it's great to see this card back, so I do want to spend a minute here. Again, Obosh because it is a companion deck, and Obosh here, our starting deck, contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards. And then if a source we would control, so the benefit that we get due to the constraint there is if a source we control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent player instead, which is pretty important, and it definitely deals a big blow really fast. And as Kushiro likes to say, this is essentially better than a cleave because it's a non-discardable cleave that you can keep in the side, you know, until you pull it over for 3 and then drop it on the board. So essentially an 8-drop cleave, which is pretty nasty. And with that said, my friends, that is that portion. And then we also have adventures. So we'll look here quickly at Lovestruck Beast. So adventures is the mechanic here where it's either has an ability that's an adventure. So this one on Lovestruck Beast is a sorcery. So we can either create a 1/1 human creature token, or we can also play the card for its non-adventure piece. And here we would get a 5/5 beast noble creature for 3. So that is the adventure mechanic. So as it says there, we may cast this card as an adventure. If we do, after we exile it, and then we may cast that creature later from exile. So pretty important there. As always, Planeswalkers, quickly, what kind of the objective of this deck is, it's really more of a mid-range to late-game type deck, or mid-range / ramp deck. We have a lot going on. It's very powerful. And additionally, who said we needed Clover to still be very successful in the Temur adventure schema here, or archetype. So as always, Planeswalkers, this deck list is available for you down below in the description. There are also deck links down there that you can use to get access right away if you'd like to start playing. But hang with me. We're going to go ahead and walk through the deck. We'll talk about the main board. We'll talk about the sideboard. We'll talk about how to sideboard. And then I'm going to go play some matches for you here in this competitive season. Again, I think I'm like Diamond Tier 2, maybe? Diamond Tier 3 right now. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got going on quickly, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about all these key components. Very, very fascinating deck. I'm looking really forward to playing this one for you today. So we already talked about Obosh. Let's go ahead and take a look here. We got our first modal land, so we got Spike-Filled Hazard. So this deals 1 damage to any target. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die, we can exile it instead. Otherwise, we can also cast it for the 1 mana if we need. What I like about these modal lands is not only do they come in as a land, but they can also help you with flooding. This deck in particular already has 27 lands, which is a lot. And if you guys didn't catch this yet, there's another little surprise. It actually runs 64. So I'm playing it as Kushiro's deck, running that 64. It's always a nice thing here against mill decks. And additionally, just from the options kind of a thing, I really, really like it. And we have good enough deck thinning here as well between Beanstalk and Cultivate, and great lineup here in terms of the mana base as well. All right, so then we have Edgeville Innkeeper. This card really feeds on the adventure mechanic. So whenever we cast a creature spell that has an adventure, we get to draw a card. So it doesn't even it doesn't need to have gone on the adventure first, even, which is pretty cool. So next we have Brazen Borrower. So this card can either return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its hand, or we can play it as a flash flyer. That's 3/1. However, it can only can block creatures only with flying. Then we got good old Bone Crusher here. We can cast it for 2 at instant speed, deal 2 damage, and that damage can't be prevented. And then when Bone Crusher Giant becomes the spell of a target or ability that deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. Then we have Cultivate. So Cultivate's a really, really nice thinning card. We get to search our library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal those lands, and put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then the other into our hand, and then shuffle our library. Again, deck thinning and ramp there, pretty sweet, and I love the art of that card. We talked about Lovestruck Beast already. Here is a big finisher in this deck. Terror of the Peaks. So here, this creature is flying. Spells our opponents cast to target Terror of the Peaks cost them an additional 3 life to cast, and then additionally, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under our control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So you got to remember that you're going to go direct to the face with that, most likely, or you can clear the board if you need. But generally, if you hit this on top of things like a Genesis Ultimatum, you're just going to go straight to the face, and I'll probably finish the game. Next, we have Beanstalk Giant here. So this is a creature giant. We got Fertile Footsteps, as I said. This is deck thinning, so we can go search our land for a basic land card, put that on the battlefield, and then shuffle our library. And then we can play Beanstalk here, and its power and toughness is equal to the number of lands we control. So again, big body, paired with Terror of the Peaks, essentially almost like a free fling. Yeah, except you don't have to sacrifice a creature. We have Genesis Ultimatum, so we get to look at the top 5 cards here with this card. We get to put any number of those permanent cards from among them on the battlefield, and the rest into our hand, and then exile Genesis Ultimatum. So very powerful. We also have Great Henge. Again, as I always mention, this is one of my favorite cards. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures we control. We can gain 2 life and also get 2 more forest within our mana base here. And then additionally, whenever we cast a non-token creature and it enters the battlefield, not cast, but enters the battlefield, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. So very powerful here. And then quickly, in terms of the mana base, we do have nice modal lands. We got a couple scries, again, more modals and some of those scries, and then even the triomes, and then everyone's favorite Fabled Passage for thinning. Pretty sweet deck. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Very powerful as well. Great in the mid-range, like I talked about, and decent at the end game as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the sideboard, because many of you like to play best of 3, and it's always important to discuss as well. So first off, we got Scorching Dragonfire. This deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, exile it instead. Where are you going to play this? You're going to play this against early game decks. You're going to play this against aggro decks. So these are going to be things like amount of red. It could be against Gruul aggro. It could also be against the Dimir Rogues deck. Also against things like the Boros Knights deck that we've done. Orzhov Clerics, Orzhov aggro. You'd also probably want to play this against the enchantment decks. Mono white Orzhov, and then also mono black enchantments as well. So that gives you some good opportunities. And then anything running Lurrus, you're probably going to play this as well. Next, we have Mystical Dispute. So this is our lovely slip that costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue spell. So anything running blue, I'd play this. And then we target their spell, but they can still pay 3 to get out of it. But I would run this against things like Dimir Rogues. I'd run this in the mirror match. I'd run this against any teamer. I'd also run this against other ramp decks. I'd run this against Sultai decks. I would run this against Dimir decks, as mentioned, both Mill and both Rogues, and then pretty much anything running blue, and then other control decks, things like Grixis, the Is It Spells deck. This is a good one that's making a comeback as well. Lots of good places to play this. I would also, honestly, I would run this against those that are also playing even like Big Red, Mono Red for Ugin. If you notice, this deck doesn't play Ugin, which is pretty interesting, but we can't because it's not odd. So something to keep in mind. Yeah, only cards with odd converted mana costs. Makes sense. So the good spot. Next, the Akroan War. So this one's making a pretty popular comeback. So first, it's a saga. So what that means is it enters, as the saga enters, we get, after our draw step, we get to add a lore counter. As the saga enters, we get a lore counter, and after our draw step, we get a lore counter, and then sacrifice it after step 3. So first, we gain control of target creature for as long as this is around. Till next turn, creatures our opponent's control have to attack each combat if able. And then lastly, each tapped creature deals damage to itself. So it's a great board wiper. Might not be bad against aggro. Also mid-range, not bad against. A great way to steal something with a cleave on it too, or kind of hold the board down. So really, you're going to play this against creature-based decks. Nothing really late game. I wouldn't play this, to be honest. You're going to do it more in that early mid-range game, and that could be the spot for you. Next, we got Ox of Agonis. So this card's super powerful. I really like this card. Even not against mill decks, I don't mind it because it's a great way to reload your deck or hand. Personally, I think you could play it anywhere in your best of 3 matchups. I would like to splash this in anyway, most likely. But where it really fits well is against mill decks. When your opponent's milling you can pop these in. I would even probably just run this at 68, to be honest. But that's just me. And we could talk about that when we do the sideboarding. But you're going to want to run this against mill, like I mentioned, so Dimir. You're going to want to run this against Rakdos mid-range too, just because they may make you discard cards. And it's nice to discard things that still will give you value later. And this is one of those cards. I would also, again, consider running this more so against some late game stuff, just again so that you can get the draw and kind of reload your cards. So Planeswalkers, that is the sideboard. We're going to go ahead now and talk about how we want to sideboard because that's always important. And we'll talk about how we do that between aggro, mid-range, and late game. I think you got a good gist of it there. But we kind of want to focus on where we're going to swap things out. So in the more fast-paced games, honestly, where I would go is I would obviously put in Scorching Dragonfire. You may want to run a Akroan War, and where I would begin to look to move things out. We're going to want to keep these. I would probably keep Terror of the Peaks because it's a great win condition. I would maybe drop out my Beanstalk Giants, just me, to be honest. I would maybe go there. I'd keep my Genesis Ultimatums because you're still going to want to go through these. And then you could also cut in your land base. Again, that's just kind of my thing. So I would maybe look to get rid of maybe like a forest, a mountain, or an island. Let's see what we got here. So high on the forest, mountain, islands. I would probably cut 1 or 2 islands, 1 or 2 forests. We got a lot of the double here on the red too, so you could probably drop one of those. And we only got 2 Fabled Passages in here anyway. So you just want to make sure that you probably have 3 or 4 of those. So that's kind of how I would look there, at least in the aggro matchup, moving things forward. You still get access to Genesis Ultimatum, you still get access to life gain if you need, and then you still get all these things that kind of help slow them down. If we go to the mid-range, this might work if you're playing a Croxa deck. I like to hit Croxa when it comes in and get it off the board. I'd play this. I would also play Ox of Agonis. I probably wouldn't play a Kron War. And where I would go there again is I'd probably do something similar. I'd probably look at Beanstalk Giant, potentially Brazen Borrower, actually. That might not be a bad one for you either to get off. I like Bone Crusher. I like the double cast and the creature's still here. Those could be some good spots for you. And then again, in the land department, so you could easily go 2 that gives you 4 and go 2 lands. That gives you easy access to 6 or 4 there, so 6 to 8. I think that's going to be a good spot for you in terms of how you may want to sideboard. And then lastly, when we do go against, and I should probably talk about the mill stuff. So again, Ox of Agonis, like I said, I would maybe just drop this in here and run 68 and call it a day. Anything that's mill, make it nice and easy for you. And then again, I would consider aggro on the rogues anyway. This Scorching Dragonfire, so you're probably good there. Late game, so these are gonna be things like the Yorion decks. These could be things like just a general Jeskai control deck, Orzhov Doom decks, those things. The key is really going to be trying to get a lot of creatures down early so you don't have to worry too much about the sacrifice. I would consider running the Mystical Disputes. Scorching Dragonfire is not going to help you. Ox of Agonis would. So those would be the 8 that I would maybe run. What would I look to take out? In this case, the Spikefield Hazard might not be helpful for you. And again, Spikefield work good against the Croxa deck and the sack stuff, and getting things off the board if you kill it, even like a opponent's Ox of Agonis or something like that. After you take it off the board, just another little trick that people always forget once in a while. And that's during combat, you give it an additional pop with Spikefield, by the way. So those are kind of my thoughts there. Again, Disputes, Ox, so that gives us 8. I would probably keep Beanstalk for late game. Brazen Borrower you're going to want to keep. Something like a Bone Crusher might actually lose some value here. Spikefield might lose some value. Bone's still going to gain on Obosh. I like keeping the Great Henge in here. You could, I like Terror of Peaks as win condition. You could always drop one of those too. So you got a good spot. Keep those Spikefields. You could go 3-2. That gives you 5. That gives you good access. Maybe 3 more. You could even go 2 lands in one of those. It gives you 8. So that's kind of how I would look at that. Again, I like Love Struck. Keeping the token on the boards are going to be helpful. Getting the draw there's going to be helpful. So that's kind of how I look at that. So Planeswalkers, we talked about the naming convention. We talked about the objective of the deck from a again mid-range to late game / ramp deck, and then we talked about the main board and the sideboard and how to board. And now we're going to go play some competitive Magic. So super excited about this. Again, hats off to Kushiro here. Great deck. Really looking forward to these matches here. So let's go ahead and play some competitive Magic here in our standard rank. Absolutely check out this Abzan Mutate deck too, my friends. Very powerful. A lot of fun as well. So let's go ahead. And we are off. Now, quickly, as always, Planeswalkers, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, you can like the video if you like it. You can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. All right, we are off against DM Hunter here for our first best of 1 match. I do like this. They go first. I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to hit card in here. worry too much about the Fireblade for now. We could put this down if we want, but I need to start looking. So I will keep that. Alright, so we're really moving here. Gonna do that. I'm gonna grab with my giants. And let us grab another forest. And we'll put this guy down. I'm fine with that. You wanted to get that stuff off the board. So here we go. We can do this. And let's go grab something else. So we got 2 reds. We need 2 reds, and we need another blue. So we need another blue at least. So they're definitely going to have a cleave. So if they drop the cleave, that'll be 6. So we have to block here. We don't have a choice, unfortunately. And they still got it. So 1 turn too slow against mono red here, unfortunately. And that is a bummer, my friends. If we would have had the right color there, we were off by 1. I could have got the ultimatum off, and that might have changed the game for us. But unfortunately, we did not pull it off. Let's go into our next match here. That can be a tough one. I will tell you from playing mono red, I do like feeding on those decks to myself, but best of 1 is totally different than best of 3. So let's go ahead here and turn it around in our next match. So we go first. I like this. We'll keep it. So what do we need for ultimatum? So it was 2 forests, 3 islands, and 2 mountains. We'll throw that one down. I'm gonna guess that they have the counter, but we'll try it. Maybe, yeah, they didn't have they have draw and lock. They might have a kill spell though. No kill spell. go. And we'll get everything on the board, so I can't counter anything there. So this is a dimir control deck. One, two, three, four, five, six. And we'll still get this guy on the board. So next turn, we can actually pull Obosh over and play it. So we'll see. We'll see if we can make it work. We don't have enough for ultimatum yet either, unfortunately. So we'll ping Spike Field for that. Whew. Alright, we're going to keep Obosh there for now. We'll keep one land card in our hand. I don't like emptying. So we could have dropped Edgewell and then played Lovestruck. But we'll get it on the board now. And then we can play Edgewell next turn. So we have lethal if they don't kill Edgewell or get Edgewell off. Oh, there you go. So now we get a double Edgewell. So now we have lethal again. So if they kill Edgewell, we can at least drop the second Edgewell here. In either way, I will still drop it. Whether or not they have a kill spell and they can hit me right before, we'll hope that they don't have two kill spells. They may kill the Lovestruck though too. So there's the one. So let's see if we can get this off first. They got something. Alright, let's see if we can get away with it. All or nothing, my friends. Did we get it? Oh, no. Oh, of course we didn't get it. And they know we have that. Oh, we get them to 4. And they're at 6, so they're still shy. Well, there's Ashion.
I won
you go. That's the right play. We'll cycle that. Oh, 42. That's 64 card deck. We don't need much, really. We really don't need much. Oops. Shoot. That I didn't mean to do. That was a screw up click. Well, that's fine. They would have got it either way there. That's a great card, by the way. Great, great card. Two things we actually could have used. Two things we could have used for once. That's unfortunate. And whatever we see, we gotta get rid of anyway. Well, I'll leave that there because they can get rid of that. If they have any counter spells, though. Oh, no. Oh, this is painful, my friends. This is painful. Very painful. We're like this close on both matches. Like that close. One turn. That's how quickly the game changes. That's how quickly it changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we still haven't hit an ultimatum. There we go. So if they have a counter here, we're in trouble. If they don't, we'll be okay. But they got 4 cards, so they probably have a counter. Yeah, there it is. That's game. That is game, my friends. We got controlled out. Alright, so best of 1 did not work for us. They were very close. They were like right on the cusp of being on the win, but just did not get a chance to go over the top. Just some slight things, but it happens. So let's go ahead and play our traditional standard ranked here. Again, there's that Obosh deck. Or sorry, Abzan deck. We are playing the Obosh deck. But Planeswalkers, as always, really, I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Feel free to like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. All right, we got Wartiner here, or Wartiner, something like that. So we'll keep this. We got access to our green. We got reds. We got blues. People are they're looking at the Obosh. People haven't been seeing this one in a while, so they're like, what the heck is this? So I'm actually going to go Triumph first. I'm not going to drop Edgewell first turn. We'll play a Riverglade maybe. So we're safe there, 1 turn away. I will play Edgewall because I can always play Brazen on it. Or we can ramp. This is going to be a tricky one to think about here. Let's go blue, red. Let's go red. Let's go grab 2. That'll get me to Genesis Ultimatum faster. So let's grab a green and a green blue. So this is the mono black control deck that we're playing against. Pretty fun deck as well. So we got blue, blue. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 2 blues. 2 blues, 3 blues, green, and a red. We need 2 more, so depending on what we hit here. So I'm going to hit this just so that they have to do it again. So this is going to be a nice, fun matchup. Heavy on the control. Here we go. I don't know. I need a green. This would be painful if I pull it though. Ooh. That's nice. And we'll push it again. So we actually have lethal next turn if we can pull this off. So what we would do is we can play our Brazen Borrower and hit in with Terror of the Peaks, and then we'll be good. If we would have had one more there, we could have pushed Forsaken back one turn, which would have been nice. Alright, War Tenor. here we go. Let's roll the dice, my friends. And we'll do all these. And we're gonna have just enough. The roll of the dice worked. It worked. All right, so let's see what we got going on here now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. There you go. So we have to get rid of Obosh if we run the other stuff. Do we need any of those? Honestly, not really. I do like Ox, as I mentioned, and I may grab 2 of those. We know what their deck is running. Spikefield's really not going to help us. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that one too. And we can go to 63. Oh, we could go to 64. I'll just keep 2 there. And that still puts us at 27, which is a ton. There we go. Let's run 62. Mystical Dispute wouldn't be bad. But I like this better. So we'll go with that. Ooh, can't have more than 15. That's a good call. So now we got to put these back in. Actually, let's do this. Let's run 2 disputes. There we go. Because they are running Ugin. They are running Ugin in this deck. I have seen it. I have seen it, and it's on my list. This one is on my list for you guys too. Alright, so let's see here. I am thinking. I'm thinking. I do like it. We'll keep it. It's going to be a little bit slow, but if we can get it off, we'll be okay. We'll see. Got good lands. I like it. Here we go. Do we have a green? We do have a green. Maybe we should start that way. Okay, let me go here. So they have to take Edgewell off. Right now, no black source, which is good. Now there's their black source. There goes Edgewell. That is unfortunate. I am actually going to do this. I'm going to ramp. I'm going to go like that. There we go. No Genesis Ultimatum, my friends. I can deal with that. So they need to kill Terror of the Peaks here. There they go. So we need a red and a green. Yep. Red on there. Grab our blue. It's not going to matter because we don't have Genesis Ultimatum now, which is fine. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can go Forest, and then we can drop Obosh, and that's going to deal a lot of damage. Necromentia. Super, super solid. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I don't know about that one. So they effectively, right now, have given me lethal. Boom! We got it, my friends. We shut down the mono black control deck and recovered. So our best of ones were like super close today. Really good matches. We lost to the mono red deck, and then we lost to the dimmer control, but then we came back and crushed it against the mono black control deck. So very, very exciting, my friends. 2-0 there. Worked out very nice. Let's go ahead and check out this deck once again. So again, this was the number 2 Channel Fireball Pro November placement deck. We did cover the number 1 one, I believe. And you guys can go check that one out, absolutely. Again, this one's by Kushiro. Congratulations, Kushiro. Nice work. And again, this is what we have going on, so we'll look at it quickly here. Just to recap, we did talk about the naming convention. We talked about the main board. We talked about the sideboard. We talked about how to sideboard, and then we went in and played some matches for you today. Didn't do well in the best of 1, but we crushed it in best of 3. If you do have questions or comments, my friends, please let me know down below. Always happy to answer, give you my opinion or thoughts. Obviously, you can always change these things up, and as I always coach, please feel free to mix it up based off your gameplay, the way you like to play. Lastly, as always, Planeswalkers, I just want to say thank you. I really, really appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. All right, Planeswalkers, well, I hope you enjoyed this Temur Obosh adventure deck. I certainly did. Very nail biter, seat of the edge seat, whatever you want to call it. I'm screwing up those words and verbiage. Deck. And we crushed it best of 3. So can't complain. Hats off. Really enjoyed it. Planeswalkers, you stay safe. I'll see you again soon. Take care and stay tuned because a lot more stuff coming your way. All right, Mythras out. Until next time, my friends.